Well, here we are again. We have made it this far, or you've just joined this video and skipped everything else and went straight to it. That's totally fine too. But we are now at the stage in our server creation where we can start creating quests and creating storylines and doing all sorts of cool stuff. Pippi has this really cool Thespian setting, Thespian as in an actor down here. And you can place these Thespians. You can give them orders. You can tell them what to do, like how they interact with people, if they hand out quests, if they are a money vendor, things like that. So the Thespian feature is one of the coolest features of Pippi, and we're going to explore that a little bit today. So I'm going to, in fact, you know what? Let's do this. Let's warp to the docks, which is a waypoint that I created, and let me show you why creating Thespians and creating quests is so fun. At least I think it's fun. I'm a writer in real life, and as a writer, I enjoy writing. So I get to write for these, and oh, suddenly the game is frozen. There we go. Okay. What I've done here is I've actually set up an entire quest area. So this is Hedi. She's my little helper person who helps new players. She comes here, and you can talk to her and get a quest from her. Now, I can't because I've already completed the quests, but basically, she gives you a quest, go gather some stuff, then she takes you over to this dude, who gives you some quests to go gather and kill some stuff, depending on what you choose. After he's done, you move over here, and instead of just doing another fetch quest, which is very generic RPG, this guy has you solve a dispute between these two people. You decide to listen to both of them. Once you're done listening to them, you talk to this guy and tell him who you think is innocent, who you think is guilty, and whatever you choose determines what kind of reward you get. Finally, you talk to the captain of the ship over here, and she has you complete one more mission for her. Once you complete that and hand in the thing that she asks you for, the entire quest line is complete. And I am going to show you how you can set up quests on your own. Now I've made videos, or I've made a video on this channel on how to set up a quest in Pippi, and that video is still relevant, but I'm going to go into a little bit more detail on this video and explain to you the different types of quests you can make and the different functions of the actors. So let's warp back to Treehouse. These are all warps that I created on my server. If you want to know how to do that, you basically, after logging into the admin, you just go over to warps, create warp wherever you're standing, name it, and then you can type /warp to whatever you named it, and you can go there whenever you want. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but that's the gist of it. Okay, so step one is placing a Thespian. Now, I've already placed one here. She's the same character model as Hedi. You'll notice same face, same hair, because basically Hedi is the starting quest person on all the different areas that I'm making on my server, just because I think it's kind of cool. But I'm going to show you how to place it from scratch. So we're going to hit our Thespian. Oh, by the way, to get your Thespian, go to Admin Panel. This is assuming you have Pippi. Go over to the Cheat Panel. Type in Thespian, and I believe they're under building. Yeah. And then just click it a couple times, and it will add it to your inventory. Thespians don't weigh anything, so you can have as many as you want. These are just admin items that you place as an admin only. Okay, so next up we're going to place our Thespian. Now, I'll probably have to blur this out on my stream because they start out naked. Although I've got nudity turned off for the purpose of this tutorial, it still bypasses that when you actually place them using Pippi. So anyway, okay, so we're going to place our dude. There he is. Oh, whoops, wrong button. Okay. Here is our Thespian. It randomly gives him physical attributes, and it's as simple as that. Next thing we're going to want to do is interact with him. Now, I am not going to use this one. I'm going to remove him. Actually, no, I'll leave him there because I might use him later. So let's go to the one that I've already placed, since I've already put clothes on her. I'm going to hit E. Her options are going to come up, and her name, her profession, all sorts of stuff. So we're just going to work our way down the list. I'm going to name her Hedi. You can name yours, whatever you want, if you're doing this at the same time as me. Her profession, This whole storyline takes place in the jungle, so I'm going to call her an adept. She's part of a group of mystics that live up in this treehouse here, and they're trying to mix perfect potions. And we're going to make a whole storyline for this. So we're just going to call her adept potion maker. Okay, preset profession. That's if she is a salesperson or something, and she's not. We're going to change her thespian type to dialogue thespian, meaning she's a person you talk to. The other options are banker, profession merchant, and social merchant. We're going to start with dialogue thespian, and I'll go through these other ones in a future video. All this stuff, generally, you don't need to actually change. It's pretty much good by default. The only thing that you should keep in mind is head tracking. If you're placing two thespians who are interacting with each other, like they look like they're talking or arguing or whatever, you want to turn off head tracking, because if it's on, they'll turn to look at you while they're talking, and it looks really creepy. So I'm keeping it on because she's just talking to me. She's not planned to talk to anyone else. And I hit apply. Now her name is changed to Hedi. She's an adept potion maker. It shows up above her head. Next up, normally we would go to equipment editor, and we would drop some clothes onto her. You can see I've got her wearing a top, a bottom, and that's it. If I wanted to, I could give her an epic jungle stalker hood. The item has to be in your inventory in order to dress them, so you just go to your cheat panel, search for whatever piece of clothing you want your person to have, and spawn it in your inventory. Now if I hit apply, and then hit apply again down here, look at that, she's wearing this ugly helmet, but I don't want her to wear that because she's got a beautiful face. Why would we hide it? Let's apply again, and there we go. Now there's her face. Next up, I can go to character editor. I can edit how she looks. I can edit her face and everything else, but in this case, she's already edited. However, it's just like editing yourself as a player. You can change colors, you can change the different eyebrows and hair and eyes and all that good stuff. And if you want, you can save it in your local storage so that you can recall them whenever you want. She's a helper girl in my local storage, so I just I spawn her in every time I do a new area. And then you hit apply. I'm gonna hit close because I already did this to her. And let's get into the real bread and butter of this, and that is the mushy editor. Now, if you know anything about programming, you know that if and arguments are needed, like if this happens, then do this. If this condition is met, then do that. That's basically what mushy editor is, but it's sort of programming for dummies, for people like me who don't know very much about programming in C++ or C++ or Java or whatever, and I just want to write a story. So the origin node is the start. This is the start of your whole operation. Everything connects back to this. So make sure what I just did here, in fact, I should have explained it, was I grabbed the origin node. So you left click drag, that's how you move things. Right click drag moves the work area. So I've brought it all the way over leftmost part of the work area. It can't go any further left. First thing I'm gonna do is when you talk to her, she's gonna say something. So let's have her say something simple. Welcome to the, let's call it the, to the Mystic Tree Village. My name, welcome to the Mystic Tree Village, comma, and then you can put player name, all one word, player name. So what she'll do is she will say the name of the person talking to her. Welcome to the Mystic Tree Village, XP Walker, or whatever your name is. Period. My name is Hedi. Oops. Though you probably already know that, because, you know, you've met her. She's my helper character, so she's basically telling the player, yeah, you probably already know who I am. And now we're going to connect the output to that, which means when the player opens her up, she says this. This is a dialogue node. And to save space, I just leave just a little space between this and that. Although later I'm going to be putting in more conditions, like if you've already finished this quest, she says this. If you haven't finished the quest, she says this. But for now, just to keep it simple, we're going to have her say that. And I'm going to drag this way over here because I know I'm going to be adding in stuff later. Okay, so there's that. And then I'm going to add in what's called an option node. What options are is they are player responses, meaning you get to click on one of these options. So let's add in 2 right here. A little bit of space. I can ask her, haven't I seen you before? Because, you know, she's the helper person. Or I could say, nice to meet you. Do you have some work for me? Or last but not least, I can add an option that simply says, I don't have time for this, or something like that. Sorry, I have to go. If you're talking to her, but you're like, oh wait, I'm busy doing something else. And now the order in which I connect these is the order in which they will show up. So first one, haven't I seen you before? Second one, nice to meet you. Third one, sorry, I have to go. One more thing before we test this is an action node. Okay, so we know a dialogue node is she says something. An option node is we say something. We're going to skip conditions. We'll come back to those. Action nodes can do many, many things. These are the bulk of what are going to be in your scripts that actually do things. So action node, she can give me an item, take an item, give me a quest, complete a quest, all sorts of stuff. In this case, we're going to close the dialogue. So I click on my output, left click my output, see my little line here, and then just left click on the action node. So now, if she says, welcome to the Mystic Tree Village, so and such, my name is Heidi, though you probably already knew that, and I say, sorry, I have to go, it simply closes the dialogue and everything's done. Then I'm going to save it. I'm going to close it. I don't need to hit apply. Mushy editor already applies it as long as I saved it. So I just hit close. And let's come up and talk to her and see what she says. There. Welcome to the Mystic Tree Village, XP Walker, instead of player name. My name is Heidi, though you probably already knew that. Now, if I click on one of these things, nothing happens because I haven't had her say anything after I select an option. However, if I click sorry, I have to go, assuming we did this right, it should close the dialogue. Yep, there we go. It closed it. Perfect. Okay, so that is step 1. That is your... and by the way, you're going to want to hold E down and go to edit. That is your first steps into the Mushy editor. Not as hard as you think. Just going to drag to the left. There they are. Okay, so those are our options. So now I'm going to add in a little bit of conversation with Heidi. So if I say, haven't I seen you before? I'm going to have her say something snarky about, yeah, duh, I'm the helper. Of course you've seen me before. If I say, nice to meet you, do you have some work for me? That kicks off a quest where she goes, why, as a matter of fact, I do have work for you. Here's something I need you to do. Okay, so I'm going to set up just a little bit of dialogue here. I'm probably going to fast forward through that on your end, and we'll get to what's called a condition node. These are also very important, and these tend to be the things that break your scripts. So I'll be right back. Okay, let me show you a bounce node real quick, and then we'll come back to the quest line. So I've set up a long quest here where you basically talk to her, she talks back, and so on and so forth. And then when she actually hands you the mission, you can either say, yes, I'll handle that, I'm going to return with your flowers. She wants some lotus flowers. Or you can tell her on second thought, I have better things to do. Now, just for the purpose of the tutorial, I'm going to show you how we can use a bounce node to go to a different part of our script. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go new bounce node. I'm going to do it twice. Right click brings up this create node thing if you didn't already know. And then I'm going to do a landing node. It just assigns an ID to that. And I'm going to move that. And then I'm going to do a bounce, which means it's going to say go from here to there, as long as I set the bounce ID to 17. The reason I set it to 17 is because that's what the landing node says. So, on second thought, I have better things to do. After I click that button, it's going to bounce me to node 17. Now, by itself, node 17 doesn't do anything. It's just sitting here doing nothing. But if I move it over here and I connect it to this closed dialog, what's going to happen is the script reader basically says, okay, he clicked this button, so let's take him over to 17, which is located here. Once he's here, do whatever this tells you to do, whatever the output connects to. Looks like it connects to this action node that says close dialog. Not really necessary to do it that way. If I just put close dialog here, I could have saved a slot, but this is more for the tutorial purposes. Okay. Now, what else I did was I basically had her say something, then I say, okay, I'm ready. She says, as you can see, I'm what you call an adept potion maker, basically the lowest on the ladder, blah, 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 blah. I can't go into the forest because I'm too weak. And I say, what's the problem? She says, oh, the jungle's just too dangerous. And then I say, oh, so you're looking for a strong warrior such as myself, I assume. And she says, yes, exactly. You possess the combat prowess, blah, 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 blah. I need 20 yellow lotus flowers and 20 black lotus flowers. And then I say to her, yeah, I can handle that. I'll return to you with your flowers. Or I say to her, yeah, you know what? I have better things to do. And it closes the dialogue. So what happens if I say, yes, I want to do this? Well, she needs to give me a quest. So I'm going to right click, action node, give quest. We're going to move that down here so it's nice and comfy. Connect the output to the input. Everything has to be connected, one to the other, left to right. And then I'm going to set the name of the quest to, let's call it the Florist, just because that's funny to me. And then if we want the player to know they've just been handed a quest, we say notify player. In this case, yes, we do. They need to know they were just given a quest, otherwise they'll forget they ever had one. And then we're going to add in one more dialogue, because if something doesn't happen after they receive the quest, they never actually see the pop-up saying that they've received the quest. So she's just going to say something like, thank you so much. I will await your return. There we go. Good enough. And then we'll just stick that right in there. Just leave a little space so we can see the connector. Connect it up to the input. And then we're going to have the player say one more thing. Because if there's not a pause after this, they'll never see that they've received the quest. So they have to actually be able to respond. And we'll just say, I'll return soon. I'll return soon. And once they click I'll return soon, it's going to close the dialogue. I can either make another action node and say close dialogue, or I can make a bounce node that bounces back to 17, which closes the dialogue. But for simplicity's sake, we can just put close dialogue right here. In fact, I'm going to get rid of this bounce node because that was just to show you how bounce nodes work, and I'm sure I'll be using them in the future. And I will just put a closed dialogue here as well. There it is, closed dialogue, nice and cozy. Basically, if I say I have better things to do, it closes it. Or if I accept the quest and then say I'll return soon, it will close the dialogue. So now at this point, I should have received a quest, and now I need to go find these things for her. In this case, she said 20 yellow lotus flowers and 20 black lotus flowers. Now, if you're the server owner and you're setting these things up, you're going to want to go and do the quest yourself to make sure it's possible. Don't just assume, oh yeah, no problem, someone can go get these. Because off the top of my head, I believe there are yellow and black lotus flowers in the jungle, but I could be wrong. So I'm going to go out searching for them. If I can't find them, but I find some other colors, I'll come back and edit this to where she needs 20 purple lotus flowers and 20 red lotus flowers or something like that. So I strongly recommend against setting up the entire quest, the entire mushy editor thing in one go, and then just assuming it's good. You need to test it as you create it, which takes time. So I'm going to save. I'm going to close. We're going to attempt this interaction, and if it works, I'm going to go look for lotus flowers. Okay, so let's talk to her. Nice to meet you. Do you have some work for me? Wow, aren't you the eager one? Great, I'm ready. What's the problem? Okay, we're just going through the dialogue real quick since I don't want this tutorial to last forever. And I can handle that. I'll return with your flowers. Now, if I click this, it should tell me I'm getting a new quest. There it is, the florist. Perfect. And then when I hit I'll return soon, it should close it according to the way I set it up. Done. Perfect. Look at that. I received the quest, and we're good to go. Now, if you're an admin, you can actually go to the admin panel, and you can go to view quest flags on a player, and it will show all the quests they've completed. See, there's the florist. It's incomplete. I haven't finished it, obviously. Okay, so I am going to go try to find these lotus flowers, and if I find other colors, I'm just going to change the quest to those, and I shall return. We are back, and as I suspected, black lotus flowers are much harder to get. I think they're over in that ape area, if I remember correctly. So we're going to change the parameters of the quest just a little bit. We're going to have her have us grab 50 yellow lotus blossoms. I called them flowers, but it's actually blossoms. And we're going to have us grab 20 orange, I guess I don't need to capitalize it, orange ficus, K-O-S, I believe. I'll double check that later. But those grow under the water, so it gives the player a chance to both look above ground and underwater. One other thing that she can do here that I forgot to add in is I'm going to have her give the player an iron sickle, just so that it's easier for them to gather, because if you're gathering by hand, at least on this server where we don't have any bonuses to gather rate, then it will take quite a while to get 50 and 20. So what I'm going to have her do, I'm going to cut this tie here. I'm going to have her give the quest, but she's also going to, new action node, give an item. She's going to give just a basic iron sickle to the player. So I should probably explain what I'm doing as I'm doing it. So you click this little magnifying glass, type in iron sickle, there it is right there, and I hit use selected. Amount is 1. She's going to give 1 sickle to the player. He doesn't need 2, obviously. Connect that. I'm going to scoot all this stuff over a little bit now that it's sort of crowded. After she gives the sickle, she's going to say, I'm going to connect it. Thank you so much. I will await return. Oh, and here is an iron sickle. This should help you with gathering the materials. Okay. And then I'll, just so the player knows, because sometimes players skip through dialogue, I'll have him say, thanks for the sickle. I'll return soon. That way the player goes, oh, I got a sickle, and then they'll check their inventory, because I'm sure we're all guilty of skipping through quest dialogue in just about every game ever. For guys like me who write the quests, it's a little depressing, but I totally understand it. Okay, so now if I were to grab this quest for the first time, she should give me a sickle, and then I can say thanks and close the dialogue. Alright, so let's assume that we've gathered the materials, which I have. In fact, I'll show you real quick. There's the orange ficus, there it is right there, and here is the yellow lotus blossom, 38 of them. Oh, did I have her say 50? Shoot. Alright, well, I'll fix that in a second. But I've already gathered them, and now I can come back. Now that I know that the quest is doable, I'm going to have her give that quest. So we've got an editor. What did she ask for? We'll just say 30 yellow lotus blossoms and 20 orange ficus. Don't worry, that doesn't actually change anything until we set that. All right, so all the dialogue is here. This is, she gives you a quest, but the game has no idea what the quest actually does. this is all just words. So we need to find a way to tell the game to look for these quest items upon our return. So now we're going to cut the origin node, because this was just to show you how it works. If I can. Okay, come on. Got it. There we go. Okay, so now if I were to talk to her, nothing would happen because the origin node doesn't connect to all this cool stuff. So let's assume we've set up our quest. Now we need to go and make a condition node. Condition nodes are the game's way of saying, if this, then that. It's basic programming, basically. So condition node. First condition. Have I completed the quest called, we got to make sure we get it word for word, including capital letters, the florist, capital T and F. So, the florist. Have I completed this quest? And I am, so we're going to go down here. Shoot, I didn't leave myself enough space. Let's do this. We're just going to make a new thing, and I'll use a bounce node later. Okay, so have I completed a quest called the florist? And we're going to put one here. So let's say I have not completed the quest, the florist. In this case, I haven't completed it. I've gathered the materials, but the quest isn't actually done. So if this is false, if I have not completed the quest, I connect it to this node, which says, okay, so do you even have the quest called the florist? The florist, there it is. And if I've never completed the quest, I don't even have the quest, then the game needs to assume I've never even grabbed it, and this is my first time talking to Hedi in the first place. So, we're going to go down here. We're going to make a bounce node. This is where bounce node actually will come in handy. Bounce node right here. We've got to make this a landing node, so it automatically assigns ID 27. So now I'm going to bounce to 27 by just holding my button down. You can also hold shift down, and it will increase the number by 10s instead of 1s. But this is only 27, so I can just click. Okay, bounce node goes right here. So if I haven't completed the quest, I don't even have the quest, chances are I am totally new to this NPC and I've never spoken to her before. So if neither of those is true, it's going to bounce me over to here, and she's going to say, welcome to the Mystic Tree, blah, 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 because it's as if she's never met me. Now, if I have the quest, she's already met me. So it wouldn't make sense for her to say, welcome to the Mystic Tree Village, because, well, she knows me. So, oh, you know what? Let me do this. Just because I get OCD if they don't line up, we're going to do this. Okay, so let's go back to our condition nodes. So let's say I have completed the quest. I did this quest, I already gave her stuff, and I'm done with her. She wouldn't say, welcome to the forest, and here I've got work for you, because I've already done the work. Instead, she would say something along the lines of, thanks again for your help. I'm already making some amazing potions with those blossom. No, that just sounds lame. Just making amazing potions. Go ahead and talk to, let's come up with a random character's name. We'll make it another female, so we'll call her Kessie. Go ahead and talk to Kessie if you haven't already. And then we're going to add in an option node where the player responds to her and says, no problem. Basically, you're welcome. I'll go talk to Kessie. And connect him. Make sure you're always connecting your outputs. And then last but not least, for that line, it's just going to close this dialogue because there's no more due for her. We've already completed our quest if this is the case. Okay. So, now let's say the player arrives. They have not completed the quest, the florist, but they do have the quest called the florist. This means that they have a quest in progress for her. So we need to decide how is she going to talk to the player if they're on a quest for her called the florist. So let's do another dialogue node. If you don't like squeezing all yours in like this, you don't have to. I squeeze them in really tight just because I like how organized it looks. But you can make them as unorganized or crazy as you want. Okay, so if it's true that I still have this quest and have not completed it, she's going to say, welcome back, player name. Or XP Walker in this case. I hope you have some good news for me. And now I get an opportunity to either say, well, yes, I do have your flowers and crap. Or say, oh, wait, I'm not quite ready. I'll be right back. All right, so we're going to go option 1, option 2. I have the items you requested. Or, not yet, but I'll return soon. If you really want to be hardcore, you can add in more dialogue where she says something along the lines of, well, then what are you doing talking to me? Get back out there and get to work. In this case, just to keep it quick, we'll just have a close dialogue feature here where right after I say that, it just closes the chat. However, if I say yes, we can't just assume the player is telling the truth because people will exploit it. She has to check to see if the player actually has said items. All right, and that was 30 Yellow Lotus, 20 Orange Ficus. Okay, so what she's going to do is she's going to check the player's inventory. The way that works is we go new condition node and another condition node. I'll explain why in a sec. So does the player have the first item she's looking for? Connect the two. We can get the item IDs. Oh, we haven't put in the item IDs yet, sorry. So we got to search for it. Let's type in Yellow Lotus. There's quite a few Yellow Lotus related items. So we're going to go Yellow Lotus Blossom, not the flower. Flower is from a different mod. So Yellow Lotus Blossom. Use it. And the player should have a total of 30. And then she's also going to look for the, 20 Orange Ficus. So we're going to search for that. Orange Ficus, not the cutting, just the normal Ficus. There it is. And the player should have 20 of those. These are really easy to obtain, by the way. Okay, so what the computer, or what the script will do is it will say, does the player have 30 Yellow Lotus Blossoms? If they do they also have 20 Orange Ficus? If they do, then she says, thank you so much. Are you ready to turn them in? Or something like that. But let's assume that the player is a lying piece of garbage. And maybe they don't have 30 Yellow Lotus Blossoms. What she's going to do is she's going to say, I thought even the most basic barbarians could count. You've proven me wrong. All right. So she's being a little snarky. And I'm going to add in new line. So enter a couple times. Come back when you have 30 Yellow Lotus Blossoms and 20 Orange Ficus. The reason I have her repeat what she already said before is this isn't like a normal MMO where you can just hit a J or whatever for your journal and all of it's tracked there. Pippi doesn't do that very well, so any chance to remind the player of what they need to gather, you should take it. All right, so I'm going to slide that on in there. So if the player does not have the Yellow Lotus Blossom, that's what she's going to say. But, you ask, what if they have the Yellow Lotus Blossom, but they don't have the Orange Ficus? Well, we can hijack this node for both. So if they don't have a Yellow Lotus Blossom, she says this. If they do have a Yellow Lotus Blossom, but they don't have the Orange Ficus, she'll still say the same thing. See, we can connect multiple nodes to the same input. And then we're just going to have the player say something like, oops, sorry. Now the player could say, oops, sorry, I'll return with 30 Yellow Blossoms at 20, but it's a little overkill, so we're not going to do that. And then an action node to close that out. Sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Okay. All that's left is what happens if the player does have everything. What is going to happen? How do we reward him? How do we take away all this stuff out of their inventory? And how do we finish the quest? That is the last portion. I'm sorry this video took so long, but this is sort of a basic version of programming, and there's no quick way to do it. All right, so we're going to add in some actions here. Well, some dialogue first. So first she's going to say, great. I see you have everything I need. Are you ready to hand it all over? This is the last chance for the player to say no or yes. So if they have this, then she says this. Goes from true to that. If they don't have either of these, she says this stuff and they go away. All right, so now the player gets two options. They can either turn in their stuff, or they can tell her, actually, I'm not quite ready. So we're going to open up two option nodes, slide them into here. Option number 1, yes, here you go. Or option number 2, actually, I'm not quite ready. If for whatever reason they have a clanmate who says, hey, I need yellow lotus blossoms, and they're like, oh, good thing you mentioned it because I was about to turn them in for this quest. That's when they would click this, or whatever their reasoning. But make sure the output connects to both of these, and actually I'm not quite ready, we'll simply close the dialogue. So we can hijack this closed dialogue action node and share it between these two so that we're not making as many items. If you ever get a chance to share a node between other nodes, do it. It just means the script there's less items in the script for it to try to read through. Within reason. So like I wouldn't connect this all the way over here to this closed dialogue because it just starts making a bunch of lines and it's hard for me to remember what connects to what. As you can see, I try to keep everything in a specific order so I can easily read my quest from left to right if I ever need to edit it. Okay, so let's assume that we're ready to give her these items. We have to actually do that. So what she's going to do is she's going to take an item. So we're going to make a ton of action nodes here. She's going to take some items. She's going to give some XP, give some items, all sorts of goodies. We're just going to pre-make a bunch of action nodes, line them up like this with one space between each. And we'll start with 5. It might need to be 6. I don't remember. Okay, so yes, here you go. Connect the output. First thing she's going to do is she's going to take the item from the player's inventory. The ID is right here. 14151 is the lotus blossom, and it will fill it out here. So if you typed it wrong, it'll let you know. And then she's going to take 30 lotus blossoms from me. Next is remove the orange ficus, which is ID over here. You can see it. 14192. 92. Yep, orange ficus, and she's going to take 20 of those. Those have been removed from my inventory. This all basically happens instantly, but it still has to go in order. Okay, after she removes those items, next up, she should complete the quest, meaning I have fulfilled everything that she wanted me to fulfill. So it's going to say complete quest. The florist, remember, it has to be exactly the same as everywhere else. Same capital letters, same spacing, everything. Any changes, any spaces that aren't supposed to be there, and it won't know what quest to complete. So you make sure this matches. Okay, so the quest is complete. What about rewards? Well, she's going to give me an item. She's going to give me, let's say, a gold coin. So we're going to type in gold coin. There's a few types of gold coins. These are the generic Conan Exiles coins. There's these coins from, I think, Emberlight or something. The one that I tend to use are the ones from AOC. These are the ones with the 9000 ID. If you don't have AOC mod, then just give something else as a reward. And use selected. And I'm just going to have her give 1 coin. That's still worth quite a bit of money in AOC currency. Next up, let's have her give XP to the player. So in this case, I have a 300 level server, so like 300,000 XP or 400,000 is not a lot. I mean, it is a lot. It's like for 1 level. So we're going to have her give 400,000 XP. And one more thing. I'll show you. I'm going to show you the give money option for those of you who prefer to use Pippi currency. If you go down to give funds, these are Pippi currency items. So she can give you direct funds that connect to the Pippi mod. In my case, I'm using hard currency, and then they can convert it later. That's a different video. Or you can remove funds if you're paying for something. There's all sorts of cool stuff you can do here. You can trigger an event, have her give recipes, give feat points, remove feat points, play sound. I'm actually going to play around with this one soon. Close dialogue, we know that one. All sorts of stuff. Warp players. There's a lot of fun stuff. Pippi is really cool. I really like it. Okay, so she's given an item to the player. She's taken both away, given them some XP. Now all that's left to do is to notify the world that the player has completed this quest. Now this is totally optional. I haven't actually seen a lot of people use this on their servers, but I do it for everything on mine. I'm going to have a chat message, so it's right there. It's another action node. Type global, so this is global chat. Chat name will just be quest complete. And then the message, this goes out to everyone on the server. So I'm gonna go player name inside those little bracket things. Has gathered the materials for Hedi's potions. Good job. Okay. And once that happens, she's going to say to you, thank you very much. I can't wait to get started. Go ahead and talk to, what was her name again? Kessie or something like that? Hold on, I gotta make sure I get it right. Kessie, yep, Kessie, 2 S's. Okay, go ahead and talk to Kessie. I believe she has some work for you. Okay, add in that dialogue. Last but not least, we'll have a player option where they say, thanks, I'll go talk to Kessie. And then, of course, we'll close it, and it'll be all done. So we're going to do action, close dialogue, and then the quest is complete. There's only one thing I'm missing. We're going to go back and do it real quick. You probably didn't notice it, but I kind of remembered it. Up here, where when you first talk to her for the very first time, she says, welcome to the Mystic Tree Village. My name is Hedi, blah, 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 blah. And I say, haven't I seen you before? She says something snarky, sort of. Says, yeah, you saw me back at the starting area. I got all the way here before you. Just accept it. And then my option can be, okay, sorry, I asked. Do you need any help? Okay, now this is where it's going to get a little bit convoluted because the lines aren't going to be perfect. Okay, so I connect these two. As soon as I ask her if she needs help, I can reuse this one right here. Why aren't you the eager one? As a matter of fact, I do have some work for you. So what we'll do is, normally I would put a bounce node right here, but just because I'm lazy, I'm going to just take this line, and I'm going to connect it to the input. Now this is a bit against my habit of showing where every line goes, but if you move a node around, it will show you where the lines go if you ever need to do that. So there we go. That now I believe I'm done. We're going to test this out. I'm going to save this, and let's see. Bounce node goes there. So when I first talk to her, she's going to check to see if I have this quest. If I don't have the quest, then it's going to bounce me to the start of the whole conversation. If I do have the quest, this conversation starts. Okay, so I think we're ready. We're going to close again, and let's see if it worked. Welcome back, XP Walker. I hope you have some good news for me, because remember, she already gave us the quest. Yes, I have the items you requested. Now, before you just click yes through everything, if you're making this quest, you should try every option. You need to basically test your script. So first I'm going to say not yet, but I'll return soon. Okay, that closes it. Good. So she says, welcome back again. Now I'm going to say, yes, I have the items you requested. Great, I see you have everything I need. Are you ready to hand it all over? So the check for items is working. And if, again, I click not ready, it should close it. Yep, it did. Yes, I have the items you requested. Now if I say, yes, here you go, she should take my items and complete the quest. Completed, the florist. Okay, you have gained a level. And then she says, thank you very much. I can't wait to get started. Go ahead and talk to Kessie. I believe she has some work for you. Thanks, I'll go talk to Kessie. All right, so now in my inventory is an extra gold coin. I had 8, I now have 9. She's given me some XP. And if I check chat, XP Walker has gathered the materials for Heidi's potions. Good job. All right, sweet. So everyone knows, even though it's just me playing right now, that I have completed this quest. Next, well, before I say that, that's the end of this video. This will go on forever if I try to show you every aspect of making quests. But next, I'm going to show you how to make a dialogue quest. That'll be the next video. I'm sure it'll be in the video collection that I put here on YouTube called Conan Exiles. And I'm just making these as quick as I can, guys. So if you happen to be watching this right as I release it and the next one's not available, trust me, I'm working on them, trying to get them out as quick as I can. Now, when you are all said and done, you can have an entire area just full of different NPCs giving you quests that connect to each other. I can have her give me another quest after I do some quests for some other people. She'll check to see if I've finished those quests, and then she'll give me some more. Like, you can really go deep into detail and have a lot of cool things happen. One last thing before we end this video is just to explain to you the different types of quests that these hippie NPCs can give. Number 1 is a fetch quest, which is what I just did. Number 2 is a kill quest, which is essentially the same as a fetch quest because there's no hippie function that says after you've killed 10 of these, return to the quest person and she'll know. Instead, what you do is she'll ask for like 10 heads of a crocodile or the head of the giant crocodile or something like that, and that's how you do a kill quest in this game. And then last but not least is a dialogue quest, which I'm going to show in the next video. So I will see you guys at the next one. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed and hope this helps you.